What up, VCS at Archives Diaries? It's time to do another one. This time we have Kenneth Higney, Attic Demonstration, privately pressed on his own Cabernet Records. Let's get it.
No heavy trucking, no heavy trucking, no heavy trucking. On your own time, no heavy trucking. How come Paul McCartney never bought this? How come John Lennon never bought this? How come Paul Simon never bought this? How come George Harrison never bought this? How come Billy Joel never bought this?
Kenneth Higney, in many ways a prototypical Real People, private press, Real People record, really, though. This is one I discovered years and years ago. I first read about it probably through a connection with Paul Major. Of course, everyone knows Paul Major. Enjoy the experience, sort of the one who was selling records via his lists, Psych and Private Press, and lots of rare records throughout the 80s and 90s. This is one of his discoveries. And Kenneth Higney made this album in 1975, but never really considered it as a album. This actually was, yes, a demonstration album. He was writing these songs as demos to get other artists to record them. He never intended it for this to be like a band or an actual, to be an artist himself. This was meant to get publishing, essentially. And it's press. He's credited here from Bayonne, New Jersey, but he was kind of a New York artist. And of course, he didn't really get much traction out of this. But yeah, thanks to people like Paul Major and other collectors, they started to really listen to this and be like, hey, forget having other people do these. Like, we love this as is. And it's certainly got that bit of a off-kilter charm, very much not professional. And the idea was, just to get these ideas down on paper. And a lot of what we get here is sort of like a little bit of a George Brigman thing, but just sort of like, as you're hearing, we're playing it now, just songs that are a little bit off the rails, just a bit. I wouldn't quite go like a Shags feel, but the songwriting's pretty good, and you're getting some acid rock, you're getting some good guitar playing, and a little bit of like sort of dark folk music. And he mainly just wrote the songs. There's a guy named Gregory Gaines, I think it is, who's not credited, but he played everything other than Higney singing, playing probably a little guitar. He's doing the drums, the bass, the lead guitar, and of course Higney is singing. And this got pretty well known within sort of the heads of people who know. And he's actually made 2 or 3 albums since and is still performing. But he's emphasized in the interviews I read that he really wanted other artists to record it, and I think they could have. I mean, obviously the right people didn't hear it, but like, here's one, Children of Sound. I like this sort of feeling that he has on this. There's a mysterious quality to it, and it's definitely Higney trying to capture just sort of like what he sees every day, what he sees in his life. There's the song, what is it? No Heavy Trucking. That's got some bizarre ass chords in it, and he'd talk about that in this interview I read. But this is one I just picked up for a great price from the store out in Massapequa, Long Island. I'm forgetting the name of it. The one that the Beatles guy, Mr. Mayo, goes to all the time. They had a really fair, below median Discogs price on this. I just sold my reissue via the purge I had done, and this is one I definitely plan to pick up because you can find it. There were, I think, 500 originally pressed, and then I think Paul Major actually made 500 more records because Higney had 500 sleeves, and so they made more. I don't know if this is one of those. I didn't look into if you can tell which one you have. I'm sure there is, but not a big deal, I think he made those repressings. I'm pretty sure this is original, but those 80s editions, I think that's it from the 80s. Anyway, I really like the sort of choices that Higney made with these songs, and there's this sort of like watery sound on this record, and it's just kind of a classic Acid Archives record, really. It's one people point to when they think of, local record, private press, or Real People. And it's from 1976, if I didn't say, recorded in 1975. All the lyrics are on the back. I do dig this cover. Yeah, he had enough money to make a record, so he made it. I guess he was putting songs on tapes, and he got sick of doing that, so decided to press up a record. There's a fair amount of information on Higney out there, but it's as simple as this: a record of demonstration songs he wanted others to record. Here we go. Let's consult the book. I seem to go right to the eyes every time. Oh, I found this one quickly. 2 different reviews in here of Aaron Malinsky and R.M. Ron Moore. Attic Demonstration, 1976. I first found out about this in buying a CD. I bought a CD of this. There was a reissue from like maybe 2005, I think. So I had that first. But anyway, Attic Demonstration, 1976, Kabrutny, and then 1985, which is the Paul Major press. That's the second press, Rarity 1 for both. Here's Ron Moore. New Jersey open wounds, real people, basement, psych damage, strums with buzz fuzz bursts. A mix of Skip Spencean floaters and warped rhythm ravers. We're getting really arty on this one. At times it sounds like half Japanese doing Kale era modern lovers outtakes. Way lost, no-fi monsterdom. The repressed use leftover covers and labels. There's a sticker on the cover and the label over the address listing a Lyndhurst, New Jersey address. Okay, the first press shows a Bayonne, New Jersey address on cover and label. So that's the one I have. I have the first press. Although some originals have this sticker too. Mine does not have a sticker. So that is Ron Moore. Here's Aaron Malinsky. Many years after this album had become a cult classic, Higney claimed that the sloppy performances and off-rhythm singing weren't his natural sensibility, but actual mistakes, which is also what's charming. Since he had recorded the songs to shop them to other artists, not to showcase himself as a performer, he wasn't too concerned with the quality. That said, there's still no question that something is bizarre and off with this worldview. This is one Real People album that really is enjoyable, because he has just enough songwriting talent to make the songs listenable, and there are enough quirks and goofy moments to push it one step further into its own unique realm. Occasionally, this music seems like ahead of its time proto-punk. Yes, I didn't mention that. There's definitely no shortage of energy here. Lots of people love this album, and for good reason. So both pretty positive on the album. I forgot to mention one thing. He did release a single in 1980, which is actually pretty collectible too. This is about, talking about what this goes for, I got this for pretty well under $100. And it can go for about $150, typically, sometimes $200. So, in any case, 1980, he made another single for Kabrutny. It was not on here, obviously, 2 different songs. That for a while, Terry Ork of Ork Records, the New York punk label, either they were going to release that or release some sort of other Higney music, but that never happened. It faded away. It did not materialize, although he was in discussions with Terry Ork. So that was his one sort of close brush with something a little bit more widely distributed. Anyway, that's it. 1976's Attic Demonstration, my latest Acid Archives entry. What does everybody think about this? I feel like this is certainly a psychedelic record. Well, I've never heard him talk about it, but pretty well known amongst this type of thing. So there it is, Attic Demonstration, Acid Archives Diaries.